It all kicks off on a dark, silent night with a massive full moon hanging in the sky. We see an empty road near the sea where a sports car cuts through the darkness. Then the vehicle stops and a mysterious man steps out. The person walks to the edge of the bridge and stares at the horizon. Right after, the light reveals a guy with white hair and a super serious expression. From there, he hops onto the car to scope out an abandoned port down below. Down there, two thugs are chatting about a new substance called psychedelic moon. Suddenly, one of them notices something weird and gets totally confused. Our MC arrives on the scene carrying a briefcase and interrupts their little chat. One of the goons stands up and walks toward him, asking where he came from. The guy asks for an invitation but gets a gun pointed at his head as an answer. Without thinking twice, our MC pulls the trigger with zero hesitation. With that, the blast sends the thug's body flying from the impact. Seeing his partner on the ground, the other goon asks what the heck is going on. Our MC just shows his weapon and asks if he still hasn't grasped the situation. The scene shifts to a club where a DJ is working, looking pretty nervous. Right after, we see the party is over for everyone, with a bunch of people passed out on the tables. One of the guys there looks super creepy with red eyes and sharp teeth. By the looks of it, he's a vampire and doesn't seem to be in a good mood. Faced with this, the DJ is completely terrified and doesn't know what to do. The vampire complains that the music is killing the party vibe. He tells her to just pick something upbeat and let it play. To these creatures, humans are nothing more than simple prey. From there, the vampire starts walking up the stairs toward the stage. He walks slowly toward the girl with a threatening look. She freezes in fear while the monster gets closer and closer. He says if she can't even do that, there's no reason for them to hold back. But at that moment, the club door is busted open with a super strong kick. The vampire turns around, startled, not understanding what's happening. Turns out, even these vampires have beings they fear. Suddenly, several vampires are thrown back, hitting the floor lifeless. The other monsters are shocked by the scene and look at the club entrance. Standing at the door, our MC asks if the boys had fun. It turns out these guys are known as vampire hunters. One of the monsters screams, asking who he is and saying he wasn't invited. So, the creature lunges with its claws at the hunter. But Sylvester doesn't even flinch and says he actually feels sorry for him. He understands they're trying to track down someone named JGO. However, he didn't imagine the JGO group would team up with thugs. Our MC even taunts him, asking what the late JGO would say. Hearing all that, the vampire leader goes silent. Suddenly, he realizes the intruder is a familiar face. The monster recognizes him as the priest kicked out of the Vatican, Sylvester. From there, the leader says he's going to use his crimson fluid to decorate the night. Sylvester just comments that their hospitality is trash. The hunter taunts them, asking if their attitude is because they don't have a father. Here, the story takes a brief pause to talk about the creation of Adam. The scene cuts quickly to the sharp fangs of one of the monsters. Right after, our MC unleashes immense power and takes out several vampires at once. Faced with the situation, he just says ashes to ashes, while the red stuff flows, and finishes with dust to dust, ending the first chapter of the story. Back to the fight, Sylvester says the leader has no useful info. He continues saying the fact the vampire tried to end him is proof enough. This shows he's the most useless type of mutt among mutts. The monster gets enraged by the taunt and charges, screaming for him to shut up. From there, he grabs a heavy object and throws it with full force. But our MC defends easily, using his weapon to block the attack. Suddenly, the vampire's arm starts changing shape and looks really weird. Wasting no time, Sylvester attacks the mutant arm with his sword in a precise strike. The hunter is surprised and comments that the monster knows how to transform. With that, the monster charges with his transformed arm at the hunter. Our MC doesn't waste time and readies his weapon for a counterattack. The shot hits the vampire square in the chest, and he feels the impact. Even so, Sylvester keeps a serious look, focused on the combat. Right after, he lands a powerful kick and cuts the creature's arm. The vampire feels the hit and looks full of pain and rage. To finish it, Sylvester fires a shot that causes a giant explosion in the place. Thus, the vampire leader falls to the ground, completely defeated. Suddenly, a voice complains, saying he could have gone easier. We see another guy has arrived and is examining one of the bodies. He complains that if Sylvester cuts up the bodies so much, there's no sample left to collect. Our MC asks where Dyokian is, and the guy says he's substituting for him. The hunter confirms the JGO group really had a connection to the Sangdong faction, and also comments that they had a pretty impressive hideout there. Even defeated, the vampire tells Sylvester to go back to what he was doing. Suddenly, the vampire's eye opens, showing he's still alive and furious. The other hunter notices the monster woke up and warns our MC. Wasting no time, Sylvester points his weapon at the enemy on the floor. But the vampire uses his last bit of strength to lunge at him full speed. Our MC stays calm and aims with precision to end the fight for good. Right after, he fires several shots that hit the monster's body dead on. Even wounded, the vampire keeps a look full of hate and determination. With the force of the shots, he's thrown back, slamming against the wall hard. The scene goes back to the port where the thug was still lying on the ground, lifeless. The vampire breaks the window and uses the confusion to escape the place. From there, he runs desperately to get away from the hunters as fast as possible. Sylvester and his partner watch the escape and comment that he left in a huge hurry. The other hunter suggests letting the vampire go since he's gonna expire anyway. Our MC doesn't like that idea at all and shoots a deadly glare at his colleague. He threatens the partner, who just laughs and says it was a pretty intense joke on his part. Sylvester asks if that looks like a joke, and the partner gets scared instantly. The guy gives a thumbs up and says he'll handle the cleanup. From there, the colleague says goodbye and goes to fix the mess they made. Our MC stays alone on the dock, watching the water in silence. Faced with the situation, Sylvester sighs in frustration and thinks things are getting complicated. He realizes the vampire had already lost his mind and was in the process of going feral. That's the awakened form of the Jeju lineage vampires. Standing under the full moon, our MC understands what that really means. Suddenly, the scene is cut by a bright flash of light and changes location. Now we see a biker gang speeding down the highway at night. Because of this, the police show up and tell them to slow down if they don't want to meet their maker. One of the girls in the gang doesn't give a damn and dares the cops to catch them. The scene shifts to a lone biker who also speeds through the dark night. It looks like someone is going to become an offering to the approaching moonlit night. Elsewhere, we see a photo of a happy family in a simple picture frame. The image showed a perfect life with a house, garden, brother, and even a pet dog. Another flash of light appears on the screen, and the scene changes quickly again. Right after, we go back to the biker gang running nonstop. The biker reflects that compared to his family, he's nothing special and not even good at school. Because of this feeling, his family's picture frame breaks, and he's always wanted to escape the routine. Meanwhile, a girl on the back of another bike warns that someone is still following them. The driver gets annoyed with her desperation and tells the chick to just hold on tight. The guy in the helmet just watches the gang ahead without saying a single word. Faced with this, he throttles his bike, thinking this is what happens when following the set route. With that, everyone keeps racing down the road in a high-speed contest. Suddenly, one of the gang members yells at Hansegun, asking where he's going. So, he pops a wheelie and prepares for a super risky maneuver. From there, the guy jumps over the guardrail, taking a different path. Seeing this, the gang is completely shocked and doesn't understand a thing. Right after, Hansegun rides over police tape and continues his path. For a brief moment, the biker closes his eyes, seemingly super focused on what he's doing. He pulls off an incredible jump between two buildings and lands perfectly on the other side. With that, Hansegun continues his route at high speed through the dark city. Stopping the bike on the side of the road, Hansegun looks back, defying danger. Lifting his visor, he stares at the cop screaming furiously in his direction. With coldness in his eyes, the guy just observes the authority without being intimidated. Revving hard, the bike screeches tires and kicks up smoke, preparing to flee. Hearing distant sirens, he disappears into the darkness of the night at high speed. Later, we see his family's house, quiet and silent under the moonlight. Walking to the entrance, our MC arrives without making a sound. Calling for his parents, he turns the doorknob expecting to find everyone okay. Upon entering the living room, Hansegun finds the darkness and absolute silence strange. Smelling a strong scent of metallic fluid, he freezes in place with his heart racing. Scared, the kid widens his eyes, realizing the horror around him. Stepping in a red puddle, his sneaker gets soaked, revealing the tragedy. Faced with that scene, he sees the red substance painting the walls and floor of the house. Shaking with terror, Hansegun calls for his mom, unable to believe it. Staring at the massacre, our MC feels his world collapsing around him. Slowly entering the darkness, he feels something evil has invaded his home. Gripping a bat tightly, Hansegun tries to protect himself from the unknown. Calling for his parents, the guy moves forward with his heart in his throat from fear. Rising from the dark, a giant shadow reveals itself before him, covering everything. Jumping with full force, the creature attacks, trying to rip the kid's head off. Blocking the fangs, he screams as he recognizes his dog, Jane d'Arc. Forcing the bat, our MC fights desperately against the monster. Looking into the beast's eyes, he realizes she's turned into an aberration. Growling with hate, the animal tries at all costs to break his defense. Being pushed back, the young man uses all his strength not to get taken out. Faced with the situation, he understands the thing isn't his friend anymore. Without mercy, the beast charges again, ready for the final slaughter. Ripping through the air, sharp claws cut everything with absurd violence. Slicing the environment, the attack destroys walls and throws objects far away. Shocked by the scene, Hansegun can barely react to the massacre in front of him. Remembering the dog's sweetness, he refuses to believe it. Seeing his weapon in the red mess, our MC stares at the carnage around. Observing his parents' destroyed bodies, he feels a terrible shock. Holding back vomit, the kid gets nauseous with the smell of demise in the air. Unable to handle the pressure, Han-segun throws up right there. Shaking with terror, he asks himself what caused this tragedy. Hearing a strange sound, the guy realizes he's not alone in the house. Sensing danger nearby, he knows the threat is still there. Staring at the useless bat, our MC understands he needs more power. Remembering his dad's weapon, he decides to get the hunting shotgun. Entering the office, the kid scans the room looking for defense. Finding his brother gone, he feels his heart break into pieces instantly. Resting his hand on his shoulder, Han-segun confirms his worst nightmare. Hugging the cold body, the youngest apologizes, crying profusely. Blaming himself for being late, our MC wishes he had arrived sooner. Grabbing the ammo, he swears he'll get revenge on all the killers. Holding the gun, Han-segun promises to end every single one of them without mercy. Checking the load, the guy sees the shotgun is ready for combat. Admiring the barrel, our MC feels the moment of truth has arrived. Locking the mechanism, he prepares for whatever comes in the fight. Leaving the room, the kid moves forward wanting to see who's left standing at the end. Going down the steps, Han-segun stays alert to any noise in the house. Searching for the target, he knows the meeting of two beasts is inevitable. Sensing something weird, our MC freezes upon hearing a noise. Stepping heavily, a deformed foot appears at the top of the stairs. Pointing the weapon, the guy reacts fast, aiming at the threat up there. Grabbing the handrail, sharp claws show the danger is real. Revealing its form, the monster stares at the human with pure hate in its eyes. Keeping focus, Han-segun holds steady, waiting for the moment to shoot. Growling loudly, the creature makes it clear only one of them leaves alive. Pointing his weapon, Han-segun prepares for the final showdown. Remembering his happy parents, he feels a mix of pain and hate. Recalling the comfort of home, the guy knows everything has been destroyed. Thinking about the delay, he blames himself for not arriving in time. Staring at the beast, our MC sees the killer of his family. Freezing with fear, the kid sees the monster prepare to pounce. Letting out a high-pitched screech, the creature jumps at him with everything. Pulling the trigger, Han-segun fires at the threat without blinking. Lighting up the room, the shot explodes toward the furious monster. Grazing it, the bullet only diverts the claw's path. Destroying the wall, the beast continues its relentless and deadly advance. Losing balance, the two tumble down the stairs violently. Smashing their bodies on the steps, the fall is painful and brutal. Landing awkwardly on the floor, the guy is dazed by the impact. Stretching out a hand, the vampire tries to reach his leg. Crawling, backing away on the floor, Han-segun tries to distance himself from that dangerous freak. Standing up slowly, the monster casts a huge shadow over him. Showing its teeth, the beast smiles as if savoring the guy's fear. Revealing its whole body, the creature looks invincible and terrifying. Hitting his back against the wall, our MC sees he has no way out. Staring at the prey, the vampire prepares for the final fatal strike. Holding the gun tight, he tries to control the shaking of his hands. Feeling terror take over, Han-segun hesitates for a brief moment. Remembering that was his family's last day, sadness turns into fury. Becoming a beast in the guy's eyes, the monster moves in for the kill. Letting out a war cry, our MC decides to fight to the end. Cursing the killer, he charges, ignoring any danger. Firing with everything, the shotgun spits fire, illuminating the dark room. Hitting the target, the bullet's impact explodes flesh and fluid into the air. Feeling the hit, the beast recoils, stunned by the violence of the attack. Catching his breath, Han-segun watches the smoke coming from the gun. Seeing the red liquid run, he realizes the nightmare continues. Jumping from the shadows, the beast grabs the guy's neck. Squeezing his throat, the monster tries to crush his windpipe. Lifting our MC off the ground, the creature shows its power. Staring into the red eyes, the kid fights desperately for air. Hearing the death threat, he decides to make a final bet. Asking for forgiveness in his thoughts, Han-segun prepares his last trick. Blowing up the vampire's face, a point-blank shot surprises him. Dropping the victim, the monster stumbles back from the impact. Dripping crimson on the floor, the beast tries to understand what happened. Screaming furiously, the enemy refuses to fall even while wounded. Wielding a pistol, the young man shows he was prepared. Unloading the clip, he shoots the beast in the chest without mercy. Landing shot after shot, our MC riddles the monster with holes. Screaming in agony, the creature feels the fatal blow tear through its flesh. Slicing the air, a cross of energy cuts the monster into pieces instantly. Appearing on the scene, a long-haired man says he could have expired quietly. Lying on the ground, Han-segun sees the enemy's destroyed body in front of him. Analyzing the spot, the stranger observes the tragedy without showing emotion. Walking among the bodies, he ignores the horror of that bloody night. Calling the kid a monster, he speaks as if he knew everything. Staring at the survivor, the guy tells him to hate them all with intensity. Showing his icy eyes, the intruder imposes respect and fear. Lying in the red mess, the father's shotgun is useless now. Looking up, Han-segun tries to focus on the mysterious man's face. Questioning the kid's power, the man asks if all that came from him. Staring into the abyss in his eyes, the stranger feels the youth's darkness. Getting serious, he realizes he awakens something dangerous in the boy. Standing up shakily, our MC radiates a terrifying thirst to unalive things. Staring at the picture on the wall, the narrator says that happy story is over. Arriving at the crime scene, the police surround the house to investigate everything. Revealing the massacre, the father's weapon rests in a puddle of thick liquid. Shaking the kid, a cop tries to see if he's still conscious. Screaming for medics, the officers announce they found a survivor there. Calling for his parents, Han-segun stares at nothing in deep shock. Remembering his brother, he whispers his name while passing out on the cold floor. Looking at the scene from above, our MC sees his dark wish came true. Reporting the tragedy, the anchor talks about the brutal murder of the whole family. Confirming the facts, the TV reveals only the youngest son escaped. Isolating the evidence, forensics turns his home into a horror scene. Watching the news, people on the street devour the misfortune as entertainment. Hugging their loved ones, couples use someone else's pain just as casual conversation. Firing flashes, reporters turn his suffering into a spectacle. Walking through it, the guy feels disgusted by everyone's fake pity. Forming a tower, reporters surround the survivor looking for news. Shouting questions, the media ignores his pain, just wanting a scoop. Pushing through the crowd, Han-segun tries to escape that suffocating pressure. Hallucinating from trauma, he sees a monster's face in the crowd. Sweating cold, the kid questions why he was the only one left. Recalling the massacre, the image of hungry beasts returns with full force. Popping up in memory, a vampirist watches the carnage coldly. Sprinting through the streets, our MC runs far away from that horror. Seeking refuge, he picks up the pace, wanting to disappear right now. Running through alleys, the guy doubts a safe place exists in the world. Crying with rage, Han-segun begs for no one to find him there. Going back to the past, he remembers that in the end, he couldn't save anyone. Curled up on the ground, the youth realizes fleeing is useless against his own mind. Staring at his hand, he sees imaginary red stains marking his skin forever. Covering his face, the guy recalls his blood was the sweetest for them. Seeing his mom's body on the floor again, the pain of loss returns with total force. Remembering his brother being torn apart, hate consumes his mind now. Appearing in memory, the face of the man in white haunts him in nightmares. Staring at the marks on the floor, the police decreed only one was left there. Blinded by flashes, our MC became the media's main attraction. Walking among people, he feels he doesn't belong to that common world anymore. Knowing the truth, the guy understands real monsters live in the shadows. Opening the garage, Han-segun finds the bike ready for the hunt. Getting on the vehicle, he decides his life is now about chasing death. Looking ahead, the kid promises to exterminate every vampire he finds. Revving hard, the bike roars loud, cutting the silence of the dark night. Tearing up the road, he feels the wind carry away his old quiet life. Stopping at the overlook, the youth observes the vastness of the city below him. Seeing the metropolis lights, our MC knows danger hides there. Watching the horizon, Han-segun begins his lonely journey of revenge. Noticing someone there, Han-segun finds the presence of another person strange. Recognizing the profile, he's sure it's the man from the night of the massacre. Focusing on the guy's face, the boy confirms he's not going crazy. Walking toward him, the man in white seems to ignore the youth's presence. Running to intercept him, Han advances before the mysterious guy leaves. Getting close, the kid approaches the guy with urgency and anxiety. Pointing his finger, he states with conviction that he remembers that face. Demanding answers, our MC asks if he was there that night. Approaching coldly, the man tells him to lower his tone to avoid attention. Feeling a chill, the boy steps back, intimidated by his threatening posture. Ignoring the fear, Han asks about the creature that ended his family. Questioning reality, he needs to know if that monster really existed. Testing the kid, the hunter asks if he's talking about vampires. Confirming the suspicion, the man says correct and leaves the youth paralyzed. Looking at the lit-up city, he decides to get straight to the point without stalling. Explaining the situation, the hunter says drinking vampire blood brings side effects. Hearing that, Han-segun tries to understand what's happening to his body. Remembering the metallic taste, he feels a fury growing inside his chest. Clenching his fists, the kid asks if the beast that attacked him was eliminated. Confirming the kill, the man simply tells him to forget the world of shadows. Outraged by the dismissal, the boy questions if there are still many monsters loose. Turning his back, Sylvester warns that's none of a regular civilian's business. Staring at the youth, he orders the boy to return to his normal little life from before. Exploding with rage, Han screams asking how he can go back after the tragedy. Venting his pain, he yells that he lost everything and normal doesn't exist anymore. Losing control, our MC lunges at the hunter with hate. Predicting the attack, Sylvester grabs the kid by the collar without effort. Staring at the boy, the man radiates a killer pressure that chills the spine. Warning coldly, he tells the child to grow up because the world is cruel to everyone. Staring at the guy, the boy is speechless before that brutal truth. Screaming in despair, he states it's impossible to forget the family massacre. Rejecting the advice, the kid warns he won't let what happened slide. Swearing revenge, he promises to end all monsters even if he expires trying. Noticing the kid's fury, the hunter notes he's speaking very seriously. Analyzing that look, the man sees hate has transformed the boy inside. Under the moonlight, Sylvester makes a decision about the youth's destiny. In a quiet bar, we see two guys waiting for their companion's return. Entering the place, our MC follows the hunter who arrives with presents. With no patience for jokes, Sylvester tells the colleague to stop with the nicknames. Accepting the scolding, the guy with glasses asks for calm given his bad mood. Noticing the guest, the pair finds the presence of a child in that place weird. With a curious look, one of them comments the kid has a different vibe. Sitting in the armchair, the leader complains the previous hunt was a failure. Wanting to understand everything, the scared man asks the reason for bringing the boy. Insinuating the worst, he says the boss wants to drag the boy into the mud. Staring at the rookie, Sylvester just confirms he's the recruit in question. Remembering combat, the partner comments he's already felt the pain on his skin. Feeling flesh tear, Han recalls what it's like to fight one of those beasts. Showing a red capsule, the hunter reveals their power source. Explaining the effect, he says that allows surpassing vampire strength. Warning about the price, the man advises constant use destroys the body. Revealing the worst risk, he says addiction to the red stuff creates new monsters. Testing the youth's determination, Sylvester asks if he accepts the burden. Looking at nothing, Han understands he can never return to the light again. Squeezing his fist tight, he states his reality ended a long time ago. Extending his hand, our MC demands the power to fulfill his revenge. Grabbing the chance, he decides to sacrifice his humanity without hesitation. Emerging from shadows, a giant guy praises the kid's killer look. Questioning the leader, the big guy asks if he's taking the boy along. Touching his head, the man welcomes him to the world of the evil moon. Asking about training, Hansegan wants to know how he'll get stronger. Staring at the rookie, the big guy doubts he can handle the team's brutal pace. Answering coldly, Sylvester says the key is using more of those drugs. Following his path, he doesn't even look back, leaving the warning in the air. Questioning the method, the other hunters think that's too dangerous for a human. Accepting the risk, our MC seals his pact with the underworld right there. Receiving the boy, the leader officially welcomes him to the evil moon. Jumping forward in time, the story skips a whole year after this decisive meeting. Changing scenery, we see a luxury club surrounded by imported cars at the entrance. Stepping out of the vehicle, a burly man adjusts his suit with plenty of arrogance. Revealing his face, the guy radiates the aura of an organized crime boss. Shouting in unison, dozens of goons bow before his arrival. Walking among them, the boss ignores the exaggerated reception and moves forward. Trying to please a subordinate warns nervously that the VIP room is ready. Stopping his stride, the leader asks irritated why he was called there so early. Pointing to the hall, the henchman stammers trying to explain the situation. Observing the dance floor, the boss sees a lone guy standing in the middle of the mess. Posing with style, the guy in the cap awaits the arrival of the place's owners. Furious with the call, the leader asks if they disturbed his sleep over a brat. Humiliating the subordinate, he doesn't accept that a Kun man army exists. Staring at the intruder, the boss doubts that kid is responsible for the damage. Worded out by the age, he comments he expected someone older and dangerous. Turning to them, Hansegun asks if the old geezers don't have manners. Maintaining arrogance, the mobster says we live in a democracy and demands respect. Bragging, he warns the place is surrounded by 50 armed men. Laughing, our MC says he already counted every single one of them at the entrance. Freezing instantly, the boss doesn't understand how the kid knows these details. Mocking the organization, the boy lists the cheap price and bad quality of their weapons. Sensing danger, the leader realizes this isn't a common intruder. Shaking the manager, he demands to know who leaked the arsenal inventory to the enemy. Finishing the inventory, he even cites the AK-47 they hide in the back. Mocking the boy, the boss asks if he thinks he's some movie hero. Smiling with disdain, Han says those men are nothing but amateur trash. Revealing the crimes, he accuses the gang of selling people as merchandise. Getting serious immediately, the leader realizes the intruder knows too many secrets. Losing patience, he decides to stop talking and resolve it with violence. Rubbing his face, the mobster regrets wasting time with the brat. Continuing the offense, the boy mentions their involvement with drugs too. Exploding with rage, the man tells the meddler to shut his filthy mouth. Ordering his demise, he screams for his goons to tear the intruder apart. Hesitating for a second, the thugs don't understand the boss's sudden fury. Repeating the command, the leader demands they make mincemeat of the boy right now. Advancing in a group, the men surround the prey armed with iron bars. Adjusting his glove, Hansegan just waits for the right moment to counterattack. Charging in, he moves so fast no one can keep up. Dodging attacks, Han moves like a ghost among the enemies. Passing under the blade, he escapes death by a hair. Piercing the wind, the thug tries to land a lethal stab with force. Maintaining focus, our MC smiles before returning the blow. Cutting the air, his fist hits the opponent with surgical precision. Flying far, the henchman falls defeated without understanding what happened. Gritting his teeth, the boss watches his army get humiliated. Mocking the situation, Han asks if those were the best soldiers. Walking to the leader, he ignores the bodies scattered on the floor. Taking firm steps, the boy corners the mobster who has nowhere to go. Asking the objective, the man wants to know the price to end this. Demanding the arsenal, Han orders him to hand over all the mentioned weapons now. Shaking with fear, the guy says he needs time to organize everything. Scheduling the exchange, the boss suggests meeting without fail the next day. Defining the location, he tells the boy to go to the resort parking lot. Screaming at the goons, the boss orders them to call that special group now. Planning revenge, he smiles imagining the abusive boy's cruel end. Cutting the scene, we see an old building surrounded by vegetation at the end of the day. Choosing some drinks, the big guy decides to take some bottles for the trip. Sitting in the mess, Sylvester's partner negotiates with an old informant. Observing the place, he comments the Hediat remains the same dump. Looking to the side, the hunter notices the old man has a lot of stuff there. Praising the vision, he says his eyes never fail for good finds. Laughing at the situation, the smuggler hands over what was asked with pleasure. Relaxing in the armchair, the old man thanks him for solving the problem. Leaving the warehouse, the big guy warns not to get used to the help. Shouting at the exit, the informant sends regards to the group's boss. Walking outside, the man enjoys the evening breeze on the road. Following his path, he doesn't even notice he's not alone on that road. Getting spooked, the hunter stops upon running into someone unexpected. Finding Han on the road, the big guy asks where he's been. Suspicious of the silence, he questions if the kid got into a fight on the street. Changing the subject, the boy asks to start hunting vampires immediately. Cutting the excitement, the partner warns he's still too weak. Advising the young man, he tells him to focus on training and avoid bigger problems. Nodding, the man gives a heavy pat on his shoulder. Asking a weird question, Han wants to know how to take out a person. Answering seriously, the hunter says if necessary just end them and that's it. Grabbing his neck, the big guy realizes the boy is up to something. Dragging the kid, he decides to resolve this energy in the fighting ring. Screaming in protest, Han is taken by force for another beating session. Night falls, the city shines while dangers hide in the shadows. Gathered in the parking lot, an elite group awaits orders in silence. Complaining about the mission, one of them thinks so many men for one target is overkill. Remembering loyalty, the leader warns they must obey even being vampires. Belittling the work, they complain about having to deal with a mere human. Warning about delays, their boss asks them to finish this quickly. Exploding suddenly, a fire extinguisher spews white smoke on everyone. Freezing the environment, the gas creates a dense curtain blinding the assassins. Emerging from the mist, Hansegan walks calmly wielding his sword. Ironizing the reception, he asks if those are the famous vampires of the region. Staring at red eyes, our MC sees they are different. Mocking the boy, a monster asks if he's had enough fun. Smiling with malice, the beast warns he won't hand over the promised weapons. Replying in kind, Han says he never expected honesty from trash. Provoking their wrath, he insults the intelligence of those disgusting creatures. Sitting on the bike, the boy displays his shining blade with total confidence. Negotiating death, he says he'll sell their fangs for profit. Jumping in time, we see another brutal training at the hunter's gym. Getting beaten badly, Han tries to land a punch on the giant but fails miserably. Blocking the blow, the big guy praises the kid's punch strength. Advancing quickly, Han tries to surprise the partner with a combo. Landing a hook, he manages to make the giant step back. Recognizing the effort, the instructor says, "Not bad for a beginner." Asking about the boss, he wants to know why Sylvester is called legendary. Finding the curiosity strange, Han asks the reason for this conversation now. Explaining the fame, the big guy says the leader took out the demon Jeijio. Hearing the name, the boy is confused because he never heard of that creature. Tapping gloves, the instructor prepares to resume the serious fight. Throwing punches, he says true demons are worth thousands. Detailing history, the man says the Jeijio clan was feared by all. Dodging attacks, Han tries to absorb the information in the punches. Hitting squarely, the big guy throws the kid onto the ring floor. Falling defeated, our MC can barely breathe from so much pain. Explaining the end, he says after the leader's death, the clan disbanded. Revealing the secret, he says vampires seek the master's lost essence. Explaining the alliance, the man says they joined another dangerous faction. Listening attentively, Han realizes the war is much bigger than he imagined. Throwing the boy on the floor, the instructor ends the lesson with a hard blow. Lying on the mat, he hears that the essence of evil never truly dies. Advising the young man, the big guy warns him not to turn into a monster in the process. Cutting to action, we see a vampire jumping against the moving bike. Drawing the sword, Han cuts the air and the enemy in a fast, lethal move. Skidding with style, he breaks the bike in front of the remaining opponents. Offering help, the boss in the white suit asks if the subordinate needs him. Refusing support, the vampire screams he can handle the job alone. Getting irritated, the leader questions if he's taking orders from trash now. Sweating cold, the creature begs the boss not to interfere in his fight. Accelerating again, our MC flashes high beams in the enemy's faces. Running over everything, Han charges with the bike, hitting the vampire dead on. Jumping agilely, the vampire avoids direct impact with the speeding bike. Screeching tires, Han makes a tight turn, preparing for immediate return. Cursing loud, the monster realizes the human is more dangerous than he looks. Falling from the sky, he screams, asking who the boy thinks he's fooling. Extending claws, the beast aims to rip the bold rider's throat. Locking aim, Hansigan waits for the exact millisecond to react. Handling the sword, he deals a quick blow aiming at his chest. Grazing skin, the attack meets absurd resistance on the target. Landing on asphalt, the hunter and prey face off for round 2. Claiming victory, the vampire says he already expected that weak move. Blocking the counterattack, Han feels the weight of that monster's strength. Retreating in pain, he sees red fluid running down his own arm. Trying again, our MC invests with fury in a downward cut. Cursing quietly, the boy notes the enemy's skin is hard as steel. Mocking the effort, the creature asks if playtime is over. Feeling the damage, the vampire recoils, moaning in pain from the wound. Falling to his knees, he loses his arrogant posture from before on the ground. Calling for the boss, the beast implores for help with a lost look. Refusing to intervene, the leader reminds him the order was to stay quiet. Approving the scene, Han comments the outcome was very pleasant to see. Admitting the mistake, the monster realizes he underestimated the human in front of him. Showing the weapon, the boy reveals he found a breach in the impenetrable defense. Adjusting the gauntlet, he concentrates all energy for the final attack. Preparing the punch, Han says he needs a heavy impact to work. Panicking, the creature sees the mechanical fist coming in his direction. Questioning the victim, our MC asks if he's ready for the end. Exploding the body, the blow shatters the vampire, scattering crimson in the air. Watching the show, the boss analyzes the destructive power of that mysterious boy. Standing over the corpse, Han breathes heavy after the combat effort. Smiling satisfied, he feels the pleasure of revenge running in his veins. Staring at the leader, Han asks if he's gonna take the fight now. Dripping red on the ground, the boy's sword awaits the next target. Jumping in the air, he warns he came to get the boss's head. Completing the threat, Han says if he understands, he can try to run. Adjusting his glasses, the man tells him to stop chatting and attack already. Shining eyes, the vampire analyzes the boy's movement calmly. Blocking the blow, the boss stops the sword with a bare hand. Laughing loud, he asks if that's all the human has. Retreating fast, Han realizes his strength is on another level. Cutting the wind, a black shadow charges against the illuminated monster. Widening his eyes, the leader feels the blade tear his impenetrable defense. Driving the sword in, Han pierces the enemy's body in a precise strike. Keeping the promise, he repeats he came to get his head. Receiving a brutal impact, Han is thrown backward wrapped in blue flames. Tasting metal, he groans in pain while trying to stay conscious. Wiping his face, our MC realizes he has no choice but to continue. Smiling maniacally, he lets combat adrenaline take over his mind. Resting his hand on the ground, the boy lands with style, ready for whatever. Observing from above, the scene reveals the trail of destruction left there. Arriving by bike, Han parks the vehicle in front of a known figure. Hearing a sudden question, a voice asks if he finally decided to show up. Crossing arms, the bearded man awaits the answer with a relaxed posture. Mocking the boy, he wants to know if his tummy feels better after the tantrum. Ignoring the taunt, Han asks about tracking and hears GPS solved everything. Changing tone, the partner comments the youth doesn't seem the same lately. Finding the comment weird, our MC asks what he means by that. Pointing at the bike, the man reminds him he treated that like a sacred treasure. Cutting the small talk, the boy answers dryly that it's none of his business. Revving the bike, Han leaves the partner talking to himself and vanishes on the road. Staying behind, Sylvester just watches the dust settle with a bored face. Cutting to downtown, the image shows the building where villains meet. Screaming furiously, the gang boss demands answers about the recent disaster. Begging forgiveness, the subordinate stammers, saying there was no way to predict that. Looking from above, the leader doesn't accept a rookie hunter caused such damage. Messaging his temple, he says he ignored minor losses until that moment. Acknowledging the embarrassment, the mobster states now they look like a bunch of amateurs. Suggesting a way out, the henchman asks if they should call the Jeijio clan to help. Exploding with rage, the boss breaks everything, refusing to depend on another faction. Spilling red on the floor, he assaults the man with terrifying violence. Questioning facts, the leader confirms the target is just a kid on a bike. Leaving the room, he orders the hunt to continue before daybreak. Hesitating in response, one of the men reminds him the original order was not to unalive. Demanding the boy's head, the boss changes rules with a killer look. Showing the urban scenario, the night seems quiet, far from battles. Stopped at a convenience store, the pair takes a break to talk. Handing a drink, Han uses the moment to demand answers. Demanding truth, the boy reminds him the old man knew about the connection to the Jeijio clan. Questioning inertia, he asks if the reason for not acting was fear of the gang. Insinuating greed, Han wants to know if they ignored everything for lack of profit. Drinking his sip, the bearded man hears everything without showing reaction. Exploding with rage, our MC says those beasts deserve to expire. Arguing with hate, he compares vampires to a spreading plague. Staring at the partner, Han says it would be easier to nip the evil in the bud now. Provoking deep, he asks if the old man never lost someone he loved. Crushing the can, the hunter breaks silence with a threatening tone. Questioning morality, he asks who the boy is to judge who lives. Mocking ideals, the man warns he only ends things for money and nothing else. Changing the subject, he fires back asking if Han used vampire blood. Warning about risk, the man reminds him vampire blood causes mutations. Cursing quietly, Han feels frustration hit hard with that boring sermon. Expelling the boy, the partner tells him to scram to avoid attracting problems. Accepting the dismissal, Han turns his back with a bitter smile on his face. Walking in the street, he laments that lack of cash stalls his revenge. Thinking about life, the boy thinks anyone would go crazy in that situation. Shouting his name, the old man makes our MC stop immediately. Opening the trunk, the hunter reveals extra ammo he saved for him. Showing the arsenal, he says he has enough bullets to cause damage. Advising the young man, the beard tells him to aim well at their hard skin. Staring at the gifts, Han barely believes the grump's generosity. Bowing his body, our MC thanks deeply for the help given. Accepting the gesture, the man watches the boy with a goodbye look. Recalling the deal, he warns Han never to let the blood dominate him. Finishing the chat, the hunter promises to end him without pity if he turns into a monster. Justifying the help, the old man says he didn't hand over ammo just out of old affection. Listening silently, Han feels the weight of responsibility fall on his shoulders. Cutting to a purple flash, a painful memory screams in the back of his mind. Speeding into the night, the boy leaves the past behind and focuses only on the mission. Glancing back, he silently says goodbye to that brief moment of peace. Lighting up the city, the full moon was so beautiful it brought tears to eyes. Crackling in the barrel, fire warms a suspicious meeting in a vacant lot. Parking the sedan, a group of debt collectors arrives wanting to collect a debt. Staring at visitors, the local kids don't seem intimidated at all. Demanding the boss, the man in the suit dismisses small talk right away. Taking a selfie, the boy mocks saying he has no time for seniors. Losing patience, the mobster realizes the total disrespect of that generation. Adjusting glasses, he warns he didn't go there to play with children. Shining eyes, the youths reveal their monstrous and bloodthirsty nature. Setting everything on fire, combat explodes, turning the alley into a sea of fire. Blocking the exit, mafia cars block any chance of the boys escaping. Seeing the friend fall, the group panics, screaming desperately his name. Breaking bones, a huge henchman immobilizes the victim on the ground without any pity. Crying in terror, the girl covers her face, unable to watch that torture. Asking for silence, the boss approaches calmly, complaining about the annoying noise. Mocking their leader, the mobster says he expected more from someone special. Cursing loud, the redhead swears he'll complete the mission even beaten up. Staring with disgust, the man in the suit just smiles at that useless bravado. Watching from afar, he commands them to drag that trash out of there now. Ignoring pleas for mercy, thugs take the wounded into the dark. Slapping the ground, the boss throws a wad of cash as advance payment. Sending the message, he orders them to use the money to attract the bike boy. Grabbing the collar, the mobster demands they bring green hair to him alive. Pulling hard, he asks if the kid understood the order or wants another beating. Screaming enraged, the monster warns that's just an example of what he'll do. Smiling cruelly, the monster questions if that beating was too little for him. Widening his eyes, the boy on the floor feels terror paralyze his whole body. Flying through the sky, birds flee scared by the evil aura of that night. Talking about myths, one of the goons comments on garlic and crucifixes with mockery. Mocking legends, the boss says it would be great if that nonsense actually worked. Changing scenery, we see an elegant fat kid bathed in morning sunlight. Lighting the interior, rays reveal a shop full of rare antiques. Noticing the visit, a short-haired woman turns curious toward the door. Entering the room, Han Segan walks confidently facing the owner. Recognizing the boy, she asks surprised if he's the famous Hansi Jian. Smiling maliciously, the lady comments he seems quite comfortable in the place. Ignoring sympathy, Han frowns and asks if she already knew everything. Pressuring the seller, he demands to know why she hid info from him. Looking away, the woman asks what brings a beast like him there. Revealing the reason, Han says he heard rumors about a vampire detector. Showing the jewelry, she presents a pendant made of pure bloodstone. Detailing usage, the woman warns the object reacts to monster hunger. Alerting the risk, she says efficacy is good but range is quite limited. Deciding instantly, Han states he's taking the item without thinking twice. Surprised by haste, the seller questions if he's sure about the purchase. Crossing arms, she says she can't stop him but warns him to be careful. Mentioning price, the lady reminds she accepts trade for useful info. Admitting failure, Han confesses he doesn't have a real weapon yet. Mocking the look, she comments he inherited the psychopath vibe from the old mentor. Slapping the table, the boy demands something that causes real damage to enemies. Looking around, the shop seems too quiet to deal lethal weapons. Remembering something, the woman snaps her fingers, having a brilliant idea. Searching the drawer, she looks for a special item hidden there. revealing the secret. The lady shows a shiny mysterious blue capsule. Handing the object, she asks to keep this just between the two there. Warning on exit, the seller shouts she doesn't accept credit cards there. Pushing the bike, Han stops at an overlook watching the sunset alone. Diving into memories, the boy recalls the start of his transformation. Echoing in mind, Sylvester's voice asks about the blood he drank. Giving cruel advice, the man warns misfortune isn't exclusive to him. Baptizing the rookie, the master welcomes him to the evil moon world. Sighing deep, Han realizes it's been a year since everything changed. Breaking silence, a voice screams his name, getting his attention on the street. Blocking the path, a gang appears blocking the boy's way. Mocking style, the leader comments green hair doesn't match at all. Joining conversation, the girl notes he grew up and asks if he recognizes her. Staring at everyone with boredom, Han questions who they are anyway. Laughing with scorn, the group realizes the kid's attitude remains the same. Advancing aggressively, the guy in red doesn't like that answer at all. Screaming in his face, the bully charges for the hell he went through looking for him. Recognizing the face, Han asks if Jung Yong Jin is in a hurry to expire. Shining eyes, our MC radiates a killer aura that chills the spine. Stepping back, thugs feel the crushing pressure of that cold look. Vibrating on neck, the stone necklace denounces supernatural presence. Finding the signal strange, Han realizes a vampire is acting in broad daylight. Remembering legends, he knows only true demons withstand the sun. Analyzing the group, the boy seeks to identify which one carries the curse in blood. Deducing fast, Han understands someone there was bitten and is transforming. Questioning alliance, our MC asks if they are from the Sangdong faction. Praising smarts, the redhead confirms he saved explanation time. Staying calm, Han wants to know how much his head is worth on the market. Listing prices, the thug reveals capture is worth much more than location. Smiling with greed, he warns the group won't leave there with little money. Thinking of taking him out, the leader holds the impulse because of witnesses around. Mocking amount, Han says they must be broke to hunt for crumbs. Cursing their posture, Han says they look like loser dogs, not runners. Frowning, the redhead feels the insult hit his wounded pride fully. Starting engines, the gang prepares to surround the target right there on the street. Provoking the group, Han asks if they need the sun to vanish to attack. Finding failure strange, Yong Jin shoots back asking what's the problem with questions. Getting on the bike, our MC challenges rivals for a real contest. Mocking with class, Han warns not to lose sight of his taillight. Raising his fist, the boy says that will be the last thing they see today. Laughing nervously, the gang leader doubts he'll lose to a kid. Crushing the can in hand, the thug releases his anger before accelerating hard. Throwing trash on the floor, he vents frustration, promising to end this. Roaring loud, engines explode in noise, starting the fast chase. Cutting wind, Han shoots ahead, leaving rivals eating dust. Speeding up, the pack tries to catch the green bike flying on asphalt. Tearing up the track, the deadly race turns the city into a battlefield. Leaning body, Han defies gravity, tearing asphalt at high speed. Widening eyes, Yong Jin gets spooked by the rival's suicidal maneuver. Weaving through traffic, they pass scraping trucks without fear of dying. Seen from above, chaos spreads through the avenue with the insane contest of the two. Mocking pilot, the redhead screams asking if he forgot how to race. Analyzing enemy, Han realizes his humanity still exists there. Remembering master, the order to end him resonates cold in his mind now. Accepting duty, our MC understands hesitating means death. Pulling handlebars, he changes path, suddenly confusing the pursuer. Going up the ramp, Han flees through a path no one expected to see. Stopping bikes, the pack stands clueless at that sharp change. Reporting to boss, the henchman warns by phone the target is running. Stammering online, he explains it turned into a drag race in the middle of the street. Screams furious, the mobster cursing the stupidity of turning everything into a game. Remembering past, the leader knows that kid is a real monster. Hearing report, the mobster receives news they lost sight of target. Screaming hate, he doesn't accept his useless men's incompetence. Showing scenery, the chase ends at an abandoned and empty construction site. Entering place, Han brakes his bike waiting for inevitable confrontation. Reaching fugitive, Yong Jin screams his name short of breath. Standing in shadow, our MC waits for right moment without turning. Complaining of escape, the redhead accuses boy of cowardice for running from race. Echoing in building, he screams running like that is a brat's attitude. Provoking rival, Han returns insult saying he couldn't handle it. Freezing instantly, Yong Jin can barely process audacity of response. Surprising enemy, a fast attack cuts silence suddenly. Knocking over bike, impact throws thug's body on hard ground. Walking slowly, Han advances toward fallen and vulnerable prey. Moaning in pain, Yong Jin hears time doesn't change who people are. Decreeing end, our MC says he should have pretended not to see him. Asking coldly, Han comments on pain enemy feels now. Promising relief, our MC prepares to end suffering. Uncapping vial, boy reveals dark liquid he brought. Ordering drink, Han pours content down wounded's throat without mercy. Offering chance, he says maybe guy survives experience. Finding sensation strange, redhead notes unbearable pain vanished instantly. Flooding veins, black power takes over his body with violence. Smelling scent, Han watches attentive to that cursed substance reaction. Transforming body, Yongjin screams while eyes shine intensely. Exploding in light, a column of blue energy tears building's darkness. Roaring in pain, creature thrashes on ground losing humanity. Burning in flames, monster stands up wrapped in scary aura. Cursing culprit, Yongjin stares at our MC with pure hate and look. Asking what happened, he tries to understand drastic body change. Decreeing death, Han warns the man he was died right there. Watching glow, our MC sees blue energy pulse in dark. Arriving at spot, gang reinforcements surround construction entrance. Staring at building, goons note strange light coming from above. Frowning, boss feels something very wrong is happening there. Pointing to floor, he demands to know who is making that mess. Feeling chill, mobster realizes problem needed to disappear soon. Exploding walls, spectral flame breaks concrete structure. Burning with fury, blue fire reveals dead walk on earth. Destroying everything, supernatural energy consumes environment violently. Widening eyes, leader recognizes that brute and savage force. Remembering term, he knows that is a rough gem, being polished. Recalling past, memory brings up warnings ignored by him. Echoing in mind, mentor's voice warned about dangers of this path. Showing boy, flashback reveals he was never someone common. Speeding in memory, his life was always a race against death. Filling streets, crowd enjoys nightlife of busy city. Stammering nervous, waitress tries to serve foreign customer at bar. Calming girl, blonde warns she can speak Korean without fear. Smiling charmingly, he guarantees he understands local language perfectly. Resuming order, he asks what she recommends to eat there. Screaming from door, childish voice interrupts moment calling master. Scaring everyone, Will appears with eyes shining pure energy. Explaining rush, boy says a girl passed out outside. Finding victim, they see young woman fallen beside sports car. Wearing hospital clothes, girl looks exhausted and totally vulnerable. Calling assistant, man decides to act fast given situation. Speeding on bridge, red car tears night taking girl along. Looking out window, Will watches city lights pass fast. Breaking silence, boy calls master with serious expression. Questioning attitude, he asks if it's okay to carry this burden. Suggesting police, Will thinks handing girl over would be correct option. Disagreeing with student, master says he values destiny ties a lot. Remembering past, he says boy himself should know that well. Sighing defeated, Will admits humans aren't rational at all really. Smiling charmingly, true demon admits to being incurable romantic. Changing scenery, scene shows luxury building where they hide. Admiring city, man in robe tastes wine calmly. Drinking sip, he awaits boy approaching with news. Concluding task, Will warns he already left girl at medical center. Asking reason, boy doesn't understand interest in that stranger. Toasting love, master repeats he's just a romantic at heart. Complaining boss, Will reminds fleeing work isn't poetic at all. Giving sermon, he orders man to take care of obligations first. Ignoring scolding, guy thinks taking flowers would be great idea. Laughing at situation, he asks if assistant discovered anything about target. Showing data, Will reveals her family was ended cruelly. Confirming story, boy tells only Hansa-jian survived. Looking at wine, blonde thinks destiny has peculiar smell. Breaking glass, drink mixes with red reflection of own blood. Explaining case, Will says Han studies at same school as her. Detailing connection, he comments boy was kicked out of shelter where he lived. Analyzing facts, master realizes Han isn't common human. Deducing reason, he understands family was target of something supernatural. Questioning victim, man thinks suspicious someone survived such attack. Feeling weight, he says living alone with this trauma is true hell. Searching more, Will discovers his bank account was emptied too. Concluding report, boy says kid's house is now empty. Laughing at irony, master finds amusing how bad luck chases certain people. Cutting to street, we see tagged alley where someone rests in dark. Emerging from shadows, Sylvester walks silent towards seated youth. Staring at alley, we see confrontation about to explode in night shadows. Remembering meeting, master comments he saw something interesting that day. Growling in dark, deformed creature awaits prey patiently. Observing monsters, Sylvester analyzes threat without showing any fear. Asking maliciously, Will notes boss seems excited with story. Admiring view, blonde reflects on loneliness of who lost everything. Mocking pain, he asks if boy is crying for being alone. Raising glass, man proposes toast to sadness of that lost soul. Ordering cry, he screams for world to hear and proves supposed purity. Drooling hunger, vampire in alley doesn't understand danger ahead. Changing tone, master warns unfortunately he can't cry. Staring at wine, crimson reflection shows cruel truth of that life. Revealing destiny, he sentences that is kid's final limit. Cutting air, blue energy blade tears darkness instantly. Spilling wine, red liquid stains everything like fresh blood. Wielding sword, hand deals lethal blow no one could see. Painting floor red, perfect cut spreads blood everywhere. Shining eyes, boy stays cold before death he just caused. Watching via camera, pair watches massacre on security screen. Freezing image, monitor hisses static hiding final details. Questioning master, wheel says hand stopped fighting suddenly now. Pouring more wine, Sylvester comments mysterious. Butterfly didn't appear. Decreeing failure, Blonde states boy is disqualified as poet. Showing bathroom, Hen vomits compulsively, unable to stop. Looking in mirror, he stares at pale, sick reflection for days. Confessing weakness, Record says he hasn't eaten anything for 10 days. Seeing nightmare again, screaming monster image returns to haunt him. Falling on floor, Hansi Jian surrenders to despair and screams in pain. Echoing in mind, Beard's voice asks who he thinks he is to judge. Laughing nervously, our MC asks no one to make him laugh at that joke. Questioning actions, Han laments in dark, not knowing which way to take. Cooling on table, cheap noodles remain untouched as time passes. Sitting on bench, our MC observes street movement in silence. Running nonstop, people pass, rushed, living normal lives. Envying routine, Han asks himself what is purpose of that rush. Getting attention, girl with pigtails approaches him curious. Comparing look, she asks if anyone told him he looks like Kurt Cobain. Widening eyes, boy gets confused by that totally random approach. Interrupting mood, furious scream calls girl's name Jin Yumi. Demanding answer, gang leader arrives, intimidating girl in front of everyone. Staring with disgust, guy looks at Han like he's disposable trash. Getting up to leave, our MC decides to ignore confusion and leave. Passing group, he walks calm, pretending he heard nothing there. Cursing loud, bully loses patience with strangers' disrespect. Grabbing his shoulder, bandit demands boy stop and pay attention. Smashing rival's face, Hen deals brutal surprise punch. Falling on ground, man bleeds, not understanding what just happened. Smiling sideways, girl watches scene with sparkle in eye. Apologizing, Han speaks with totally fake voice tone. Mocking guy, he says he thought he saw a bug on him. Touching blood, bandit realizes gravity of suffered aggression. Maintaining coldness, our MC looks at victim with contempt. Explaining act, Han insists it was just reflex against bug. Shaking with rage, bully asks if he has death wish. Screaming orders, Pack sends boy to alley with them. Threatening boy, they promise he won't leave there alive. Turning back, Hen questions if human would be capable of ending him. Challenging gang, he calls everyone scum without fear. Showing drug, someone prepares pill for coming fight. Looking at phone, girl ignores completely moment's tension. Selecting track, girl plays upbeat music. Enjoying sound, she ignores tension, letting rhythm dictate mood. Dealing kick, bandit tries to catch Hen off guard in alley. Blocking attack, our MC holds his leg firmly. Squeezing ankle, he feels enemy's bones snap instantly. Spinning body, Han throws guy far using his own strength. Seeing fall, rest of pack advances to surround boy for good. Dodging punch, he passes under opponent's guard fast. Clenching fist, strike energy concentrates for final impact. Smashing face, Han's punch deforms bandit's face violently. Flying backward, man's body hits ground already unconscious. Observing chaos, fight becomes blur of fast lethal movements. Drawing knife, coward tries to surprise our hero with betrayal. Hitting chin, rising kick shuts lights of armed guy instantly. Knocking down next, and keeps clearing area with scary precision. Screaming terror, man sees partners defeated like dolls. Flying through air, goons fall one by one before crushing strength. Kicking chest, Han launches another enemy away from fight. Scraping shoulder, blade cuts fabric passing close to skin. Tearing jacket, surprise attack leaves mark on his back. Pushing crowd, our MC clears path based on violence. Retreating scared, aggressor realizes fatal mistake just made. Showing tear, Hen feels cold wind enter through hole in clothes. Turning slowly, he focuses entire attention on knife owner. Sweating cold, bandit shakes, visibly facing death head on. Frowning, Hen makes clear his patience reached end. Cornering prey, he advances, making guy retreat, trembling in alley. Trying luck, man attacks again, swinging weapon in despair. Holding wrist, Hen stops blow in air with humiliating ease. Widening eyes, henchman feels crushing pressure lock his arm. Squeezing enemy skull, Han immobilizes his head violently. Stopping blade in air, he blocks sadistic stab effortlessly. Widen eye, bandit sees world spin before absolute terror. Sinking body, heavy blow takes air from victim's lungs instantly. Challenging aggressor, Han tells him to keep attacking if capable really. Demanding promise, our MC reminds he said he would unalive. Kicking fallen, he demands wannabe killer keep word. Smashing face, brutal knee breaks guy's teeth. Screaming incentives, Han beats man wanting to see more violence. Spreading blood, boy doesn't stop hitting for single second. Screaming rage, he asks if that ridiculous strength unalives anyone. Watching everything, Yumi stays shocked with brutality of that scene. Panning heavy, Han stops massacre, feeling adrenaline lower slowly. Turning slowly, he shoots empty look at who remains standing there. Sweating cold, boy shows sanity hanging by thread that moment. Widening eyes, Yumi stays in shock with boy's brutality. Stumbling in pain, Han walks away shaky, ignoring her presence. Leaving trail, bloodstains mark wounded boy's path. Watching departure, she remains motionless, surrounded by bodies on floor. Seen from above, alley looks like war field full of losers. Changing mood, antique shop receives quiet morning light. Tiddying place, owner sweeps floor, preparing everything to open. Drying forehead, she reflects needing to hire helper soon. Hearing engine, luxury car catches attention through window. Pulling over curb, black machine shines under strong morning sun. Lifting door vehicle reveals mysterious driver. Greeting happily, woman screams Sylvie, seeing old friend. Getting out of car, Sylvester reprimands nickname with habitual class. Walking inside, she asks why he returned so early. Answering charmingly, he says it's all Dostoevsky's fault. Touching shoulder, Han wakes feeling improvised bandage on skin. Lifting body, he tries to understand how he ended in that strange room. Sweating cold, boy realizes he passed out without seeing time pass. Looking around, he sees posters and mess scattered everywhere. Asking where he is, Han notices girl sleeping curled on floor. Judging environment, he thinks that looks more like dirty pigsty. Checking wound, boy sees she used paper tissues on cut. Waking scared, Yumi asks if he feels better already. Answering dryly, Han just confirms while trying to compose himself there. Apologizing, she says she did best she could with his stab wound. Doubting recovery, girl questions if he can walk out. Inviting boy, Yumi asks suddenly if he wants to go with her. Stammering nervous, she questions if he won't try anything indecent. Adjusting hair, girl confesses blushing she'd even be down if it were him. Staring at girl, Han remains cold, ignoring totally insinuation. Accusing girl, RMC asks if she's high on glue. Retreating scared, Yumi apologizes, stammering before his reaction. Seeing trembling, Han feels maybe he was a little too harsh. Explaining stress, he says haven't eaten for days and asks forgiveness. Remembering fight, he also apologizes for breaking her boyfriend. Hesitating little, girl gathers courage to ask important thing. Looking in eyes, she begs him to let her go along on this journey. Cutting to shop, hot noodles wait for two empty stomachs. Eating with gusto, girl devours food like Last Supper. Observing scene, Han comments she has healthy appetite. Denying boyfriend, Yumi clarifies that jerk was nothing to her. Explaining company, she says only followed him for fear of getting lost. Staring at plate, boy hears story in silence, processing everything. Asking seriously, Han wants to know if he looks like child to her. Walking street, two follow together in middle of rushed crowd. Looking away, girl seems sad hearing his comparison. Thinking to self, Han asks himself if she is also in same boat. Devouring noodles, he keeps eating while waiting answer. Murmuring shy, girl tries getting his attention again. Smiling radiant, she introduces herself as Jin Yumi, full of energy. Observing street, two share rare moment of tranquility. Cutting to hospital, building facade shines under strong sun. Complaining screaming, man demands to know how they let someone escape. Wandering corridors, pajama patient ignores screams behind. Distorting vision, she sees colorful hallucinations covering walls. Looking amazed, nurses note strange aura in place. Blocking passage, group of men blocks girl's path. Maintaining silence, she stares at invaders with empty look. Recalling record, doctor says she lived there for year. Squeezing chest, girl reflects humans are very fragile beings. Staring at door, patient feels fear grow in that dark room. Distorting vision, people around seem glitches in reality. Appearing with flowers, blonde warns she has no choice. Receiving bouquet, girl hears that is real kidnapping. Smiling calm, he acts like it was romantic date. Lowering head, she accepts destiny without way to react. Showing city sunlights, busy bridge outside. Flowing in traffic, life follows normal far from that drama. Hugging roses, young woman shrinks in convertible seat. Tearing track, red car takes girl far from there. Warning hostage, he tells her to hold tight red flowers. Looking back, man checks if not being followed. Darkening everything, reality breaks into terrifying shapes. Suffocating girl, his presence seems to dominate environment. Incentivizing chaos, blonde smiles with demonic look. Driving serious, Sylvester realizes trip won't be so calm. Looking out window, his reflection mixes with city lights outside. Cutting traffic, red car stands out as perfect target on bridge. Locking in crosshairs, telescope cross-tracks vehicle at high speed. Shining in sun, lens reflects target, imagining danger above. Watching from top, white-haired shooter observes everything coldly. Adjusting weapon, man in cassock prepares to execute fatal shot. Holding huge rifle, he looks like angel of death ready for slaughter. Arriving at destination, luxury hotel facade imposes respected entrance. Entering lobby, Sylvester presents dominance with total arrogance. Gathering team, Goonsbo nervous with surprise visit. Asking forgiveness, manager warns cleaning still not finished. Ignoring excuse, blonde walks straight with girl without stopping to hear. Dropping coins, he deposits change in guy's hand, leaving him speechless. Mocking group, master tells them to buy candy and not bother. Finding situation weird, glasses man stays reactionless with coins in hand. Smiling mysterious, Sylvester hides true intentions behind gesture. Hiding risk, he knows monster blood would be fatal to her. Mocking own style, blonde brags about chivalrous delicacy. Lit by moon, warrior bike seems to ask for mercy after everything. Evaluating damage, Han notes vehicle reached final limit. Sitting on seat, he reflects wanting fix now is pure greed. Dreaming awake, boy wanted just to buy brand new bike. Opening wallet, sadness hits hard seeing only empty leather. Noting bankruptcy, Han murmurs not a single dime in pocket. Questioning logic, he doesn't understand why old man rejects business. Planning future, Hunter decides to look for another buyer for loot. Screaming excited, female voice breaks silence calling him rockstar. Fainting from exhaustion, girl falls heavily on boy's body. Feeling tingling, Han complains his legs don't respond anymore. Questioning destiny, girl speaks as if they were partners already. Cutting chat, Han warns he's going to sleep and asks about her friends. Sitting on bench, Yumi says everyone disappeared to date or go home. Starting bike, our MC asks if parents won't worry. Receiving negative, Han is surprised hearing she has no one. Lowering look, girl completes saying she's orphaned since early. Changing mind, boy tells her to hop on bike to leave there. Cutting road to continued journey lit by street lamps. Sleeping on back, Yumi rests head trusting pilot. Recalling past bad memories of bullying invade her dream. Showing photo, phone on floor reveals group tormenting her. Kneeling scared, nightmare changes to figure of oppressor father. Screaming hate, man blames daughter for being born female. Smiling at limit, she thinks dying would be better than that routine. Wishing end, girl begs mentally for father to expire soon. Consuming everything, fire erases traces of family tragedy. Lined up on altar, parents' portraits bring grief to surface. Extending hand, she tries to reach something in middle of void. Closing eyes, Yumi lets moment madness take her. Serious in command, Han knows he can't save anyone. Analyzing facts, he notes how her story is same. Perceiving connection, boy sees mirror of himself in her. Back to past, master's voice makes tempting proposal. Refusing with disgust, he called that man insane instantly. Smiling light, girl enjoys freedom of wind on face. Accelerating bike, Han decides to leave problems behind. Like lightning, blue light trail scratches deserted avenue. In middle of neighborhood, urban setting receives tired pair. Braking abruptly, tire marks ground stopping on sidewalk. Pointing building, Han warns trip ended right there. Asking curious, girl wants to know his destination in night. Hesitating little, she tries holding his departure from there. Joining hands, Yumi creates courage and asks to see him again. Looking back, Han hears shy suggestion about shop. Accepting invite, he promises they can drink coffee together. Vanishing on road, boy leaves girl alone on sidewalk. Cursing bike, he complains old junk will disassemble. Thinking profit, Han knows needs money urgent. Focusing vision, something catches attention in middle of path. Staring car, he recognizes luxury vehicle parked there. Entering place, doorbell announces curious arrival. Getting scared, Han freezes seeing who sits inside. Screaming name, he calls for Sylvester totally surprised. Lighting corner, shop serves a stage for reunion. Pulling chair, boy asks when master arrived there. Flipping papers, Sylvester provokes asking if he accepts requests now. Frowning, Han watches master with shadowy look. Cursing softly, blonde realizes situation is more complex. Staring at boy, he comments his arrogance grew fast. Challenging pupil, Sylvester asks if he wants to expire early. Lowering eyes, our MC ignores lethal question. Perceiving mood, master questions if he knows someone involved. Slapping hand, Han ends subject demonstrating irritation. Drinking coffee, man states one thing became very clear there. Showing poster, image reveals smiling friends group. Defining target, Sylvester concludes he'll deal with difficult child. Falling from sky, rain wet suspicious building facade. Recognizing visitor, monsters surprised by arrival. Surrounding place, mobsters await order to attack. Praising with mockery, thug says boy almost looks human. Mocking them, Will reminds running doesn't guarantee anyone's safety. Shining eyes, boy asks if they don't have vampires to hunt. Interrupting fight, glasses boss tells goons to calm down. Questioning visit, he wants to know if boy's master allowed that. Holding briefcase, Will maintains arrogant posture before assassins. Throwing luggage on table, impact catches everyone's attention there. Explaining situation, boy says paths cross by chance. Growling rage, leader warns this joke will cost very expensive. Clarifying everything, Will warns money isn't for them to spend aimlessly. Smiling cold, he says value covers only cleaning mess. Finding talk weird, mobster asks what that brat means. Revealing plan, Will says needs to stop someone out of control. Sliding photo, boy shows whose problem to be solved. Analyzing image, leader recognizes our MC's profile on bike. Closing deal, Will states wants to buy luxury break now. Reading report, boss questions if target is really Han Si Jun. Staying silent, goons await scared man's reaction. Growling name, giant says he knows that cursed one very well. Asking reason, leader wants to understand subordinate's sudden hate. Remembering past, brute tells Han humiliated their gang. Consulting group, boss asks if they'll take job. Accepting instantly, giant says answer is absolute yes. Demanding blood, he orders them to unalive boy whatever cost. Wedding city, rain hides dark plans of that night. Admiring view, two figures talk before panoramic window. Questioning result, man wants to know if they found any clue. Denying everything, woman answers search was total failure. Explaining situation, she says no more monsters in that zone. Detailing void, girl states even goals disappeared from map. Staring at master, she regrets nothing matches his wish. Sitting name, Sylvester mentions haunt monster legend on glass. Materializing form, energy creature appears bizarre in his mind. Hearing scream, woman feels sound tear ears violently. Looking outside, she comments his tracks disappeared in rain. Changing focus, Blonde states he values intention more than act. Finding talk weird, Girl asks if he speaks serious now. Explaining vision, he says not everything needs to be destroyed in end. Denying chance, Woman warns she won't fall for his game. Accepting refusal, Sylvester promises not to force ideals on her. Turning sideways, he asks what she'll do then with freedom. Whispering low, Girl says everything sounds like lie. Staring at nothing, to reflect on validity of those words. Changing aura, she questions if hate is only possible path. Finding question weird, Master analyzes her unexpected reaction. Smiling cruel, he notes Girl has no attachment to life. Explaining logic, Sylvester says such hero has no friends. Extending hand, he states person doesn't even exist really. Lowering look, Girl feels weight of those cold words. Reflecting in window, her silhouette mixes with darkness outside. Posing with class, Master observes city ending subject. Turning back, Blonde warns it's time to leave. Widening eyes, Will appears in door getting huge scare. Screaming Master, Boy runs seeing Girl fallen on floor. Frowning, he disapproves partner's irresponsible attitude. Radiating power, Sylvester smiles with purple evil aura. Tearing night, hands bike cuts rain at high speed. Sensing danger, eyes shine with sharp intuition. Judging mentor, hand thinks how vile that man can be. Washing hands, smell of blood seems never leaving skin. Mocking speech, he doesn't swallow humanity savior pose. Defining guy, Sylvester states he isn't God. Lowering guard, Han admits guy is just mentally ill. Getting up to leave, Boy decides to end strange chat. Aiming it back, Master prepares goodbye his style. Firing finger, he goes bang simulating fatal shot. Stopping step, Han hesitates hearing joke sound. Walking slowly, he ignores Blonde's childish provocation. Throwing item, Sylvester screams for him to wait a bit. Catching an air, Han demonstrates sharp reflexes without looking. Revealing content, Han holds mysterious capsule. Alerting danger, man warns not something to take lightly. Advising youth, he asks not to do any stupidity. Showing city, rain intensifies turning everything into blur. Tearing wind, Han pilots bike with mind full of doubts. Mocking destiny, he thinks of irony saving humanity. Piloting in rain, Han notes something weird flying in sky above. Flapping wings, giant bat crosses storm darkness. Looking up, Boy finds size of bizarre beast strange. Emerging from nowhere, fast shapes surround moving bike. Covering light, huge shadow projects on wet asphalt. Roaring fury, monstrous bear with red eyes attacks without warning. Skidding on track, Han dodges mortal blow by hair. Stopping bike, our MC stares at aggressors on road. Turning face, he sees who prepared cowardly ambush. Smiling maliciously, vampire confirms they found right target. Pointing finger, giant beside validates Boy's identity. Staring at prey, brute displays eyes shining hunger. Blocking way, pair prevents any chance of escape. Focusing danger, Hen realizes difficult fight ahead. Surrounded in rain, Boy faces death head on without fear. Demanding surrender, Vampirus asks for bike arrogantly. Accelerating everything, Hen makes rear tire sing on wet asphalt. Lifting machine, he uses strength preparing launch. Jumping off seat, Boy propels vehicle like weapon. Flying in air, bike goes unguided against enemies. Drawing weapon, woman aims scared at suicidal tactic. Shooting without pity, she tries to stop massive object coming. Complaining loud, Vampirus can't believe he threw bike at her. Gaining height, vehicle spins violently over heads. Watching chaos, giant observes aerial attack trajectory. Touching ground, hand finishes jump with perfect landing. Lifting head, look burns with pure determination. Touching face, woman notices cut made by shrapnel. Questioning colleague, partner asks if she'll stop there. Passing turn, she warns Boy is his problem now. Observing in rain, dark shape awaits slaughter moment. Warning enemy, Hen says dodging won't save them today. Locking weapon, he knows common ammo won't scratch. Mocking threat, Vampirus finds Boy's confidence funny. Releasing chaos, black tentacles sprout from monster's back. Revealing face, creature prepares to tear prey. Focusing target, Hen maintains fixed look without trembling muscle. Advancing in fury, he screams to get out of way now. Firing both, Boy creates lead and fire barrier. Lighting alley, shots explode against flying shadows. Hitting nothing, bullets ricochet on monster's hard skin. Irritated noise, villain tells Brat shut mouth. Attacking from above, death descends fast as black blades. Receiving impact, Hen is thrown against asphalt violently. Feeling body lock, he realizes things got ugly. Sliding on asphalt, Hen shoots running to gain distance. Observing prey, two monsters surround path with bloodlust. Passing under, he escapes giant attack with total agility. Whispering provocative, villain asks if tired of play. Firming foot, boot skids in water creating rain fan. Spinning body, Hen uses momentum to attack violently. Locking defense, he holds heavy blow using only weapon. Focusing trigger, Boy seeks breach in natural armor. Exploding water fight turns street into war zone. Coming from behind, woman prepares treacherous strike in dark. Shining eyes, she stares victim ready for final slaughter. Shooting blind, Hand reacts to instinct firing at shape. Dodging narrowly, Vampirus feels bullet wind scrape her. Grabbing arm, shadow tentacles trap our MC there. Moaning pain, Hen tries breaking grip, crushing bones. Flying through air, Hen escapes death by hair breadth. Hitting soil, water rises with impact force. Shining in dark, red eye focuses on human prey. Trying cut claws past scraping his jacket. Mocking strength, Han asks if continue playing. Darkening sky, monstrous silhouette expands with fury. Screaming order, creature commands kneel right now. Sinking in earth, heavy blow throws body in mud. Cracking bones, Han stays motionless feeling cold rain. Walking to him, vampires look at damage with contempt. Whispering name, Han seeks strength in emerging memory. Popping in mind, Yumi memory brings sudden warmth. Sitting on bench, she waited alone in cruel world. Smiling sweet girl seemed oblivious to danger. Bleeding on ground, Han feels failed to protect duty. Defeated in rain, Han remains still waiting end. Grabbing leg, black tentacle traps boy strongly. Dragging prey, monster pulls body over wet asphalt. Watching close, partner awaits moment to devour everything. Opening mouth, vampires announces dinner time arrived. Exploding skull, surprise shot silences hunger forever. Emerging from shadows, mentor appears armed to teeth there. Finding visit strange, villain asks who intruder armed is. Smoking barrel, machine gun spins hot after lethal shot. Mocking audacity, beard accuses attempting steal hunt. Cursing pupil asks if that taught boy. Attacking hate, vampire launches shadows to end old man. Opening eye, Han awakens power, intense blue shine. Cutting air, energy blade slices tentacles instantly. Retreating wounded, monster feels blow impact tearing skin. Firing without mercy, weapon spits fire against enemy chest. Exploding blood impact opens hole in monster torso. Sliding rain, hunter attacks giving no truce opponent. Retreating wounded, creature feels devastating projectile force. Growling hate, vampire realizes underestimated lethal pair. Jumping fence, coward flees into dark forest. Resting weapon, beard watches escape bored look. Getting up fast, Han collects sword ready persecution. Growling rage warns hunt bastard now. Demanding sense, old man screams boy lacks blood for that. Running in bush, enemy shadow disappears trees. Lowering look, master focuses attention body left there. Finishing service, drives stake fallen vampire's heart. Commenting alone, notes blood smell different. Ignoring everything, Han feels revenge thirst pulse veins. Perceiving strength, Han understands why monster resistant. Washing blood, rain runs cold dark building railing. Blinking night, street lights fail intense storm. Remembering pain, wounded face image returns haunt. Looking around, checks bodies scattered wet floor. Ignoring dead, RMC focuses only fugitive trail. Turning back, Han decides hunt not ended. Squeezing vial, tells self has right weapon. Swallowing pill, boy accepts risk gain power. Releasing aura, neon color explosion lights alley. Shining eye, wild energy awakens inside fury. Transforming body, Han feels overcame weakness old. Staring nothing, face reflects killer determination now. Flooding street, spiritual pressure distorts air around. Stepping firm, hunter restarts chase total speed. Running rain, steps echo wet cold ground. Arriving temple, ancient structure stands darkness. Entering room, boy searches anxious answer. Widening eyes, terror takes expression instantly. Freezing place, Han faces cruel reality before. Resurfacing memory, remembers master knew everything. Dripping blood, Han hangs motionless bed. Destroyed mattress, Yumi lies lifeless empty look. Lighting horror, blue light reveals brutal massacre scene. Dropping sword, blade falls floor hope. Preparing weapon, Han recites Bible verses total coldness. Pointing head, aims woman back him. Radiating power, eye shine warns end. Smiling peace, none accepts death reciting prayer. Watching confused, wounded monster doesn't understand strange ritual. Standing rain, Han observes silence return destroyed location. Dissipating energy, blue trails disappear enemies. Seeing massacre, beard shock boy violence. Surrounded bodies, scenario reveals brutality night. Asking exit, man wants no won't flee together. Ordering focus, master warns keep eyes road now. Perceiving aura, beard understands Tetramax caused that. Exploding flames, old building starts crumbling fire. Lighting night, fire races crime trace. Accelerating car, mysterious group leaves chaos behind. Observing fire, partner regrets tragic destiny place. Vanishing curve, vehicle disappears storm darkness. Holding bag, Han stays alone middle empty street. Lifting look, sees police lights approaching fast. Asking ride, our MC asks take him there. Arriving rush, red sirens cut night darkness. Fighting fire, firefighters try control blaze sight. Mixing everything, smoke rises meeting rain falling strong. Observing afar, Sylvester watches disaster high building. Narrowing look, master seems search something middle chaos. Gathering spies finds cat group alley. Demanding proof, man orders cats spit truth. Vomiting floor, cats return bullet casing swallowed. Staring clues, Sylvester confirms battle intense there. Changing environment, classic facade hides high society secrets. Stopped entrance, sports car denounces important presence. Reflecting light, bodywork shines, still street sidewalk. Invading room, master accused losing mind completely. Ignoring scolding, asks boy lost humanity. Cutting mood, blonde says doesn't like men asks calm. Suggesting chat, white man invites visitor sit there. Finding present strange, comments traitor wouldn't come without reason. Questioning reason, guy asks him remember past. Cutting disguise, Sylvester demands no really wants that. Maintaining smile, host observes master disturbing calm. Distilling poison, mocks effort save insignificant rookie. Finding touching, man ironizes strange bond vampire hunter. Denying affection, clarifies just giving important warning. Provoking rival, subject asks Sylvester turned weak human. Challenging attack, asks blonde courage shoot center. Accepting bet, master states resolve issue right there. Placing cup, man retreats, avoid fight, classless. Mentioning rumors, cites recent chaos sparked interest, all. Valuing aesthetics, vampire refuses fight, finding moment inopportune. Confessing boredom, says fed up, both race humans. Holding weapons, Sylvester comments, day special birds. Standing up, tension 2 dominates silent environment. Giving warning, white man asks, not pressure boy too much. Leaving room, provoke, saying master has everything matters. Thanking coffee, Sylvester observes rival departure, cold look. Stopped rain, blonde complains, feeling worried father. Seeing pair arrive, notes hand returned alive, suicidal mission. Hiding look, boy walks, silence, empty expression. Sitting bench, hen accuses master, late meeting. Calling name, breaks protocol, voice loaded, pain. Asking guilt, hen wants no death, responsibility his. Laughing despair, boy starts laughing, gone crazy. Looking sky, lets rain, mixed tears face. Observing scene, pair feels weight, boy mental break. Isolated bench, hen remains motionless, surrounded night darkness. Waiting rain, gang complains, boss never appears. Mocking leader, say must be slacking around. Defending boss, henchman says much do. Hearing noise, conversation dies, strange sound near. Staring alley, all look curious, deep darkness. Whispering help, weak voice begs help, shadows. Revealing form, monstrous something starts moving dark. Retreating fear, ask what hell thing. Emerging giant skeletal creature blocks passage. Shining red, death eyes focus, easy prey. Pointing lights, group trembles, seeing enemy size. Feeling pressure, something falls, sky tearing air, violence. Exploding everything, blue energy ray crushes ground force. Flying air, severed head spins, spreading blood. Staining living, red liquid bathes shocked pair. Tearing flesh, shadow claws destroy path. Freezing terror, men see monster grow before them. Staring death, note beast bigger now. Shining sky, moon watches, silent massacre below. Narrating legend, voice says madness awakens night. Losing reason, monster surrenders, pure killer instinct. Breaking bones, creature seeks sate, insatiable hunger. Screaming blood, cursed skull demands food, live. Strolling park, night calm hides real danger. Eating snack, glasses, boy enjoys silence alone. Hearing crash, stops chewing, scared sound. Widening eyes, youth realizes something falling, dark sky. Jumping moon, black silhouette blocks starlight. Landing force, beast lands front, shocked pedestrian. Growling hunger, monster prepares attack, new prey. Screaming food, beast loses reason, demanding fresh meat. Fleeing chaos, victim runs desperate, trying escape death. Curled corner, boy sees in light approach. Lit night, building window, only witness horror. Smoking skull, skull exhales, killer fury heat. Spreading terror, shadows dance, violent dark alley. Roaring loud, creature announces hunger, totally insatiable. Changing scenery, setting sun bathes old isolated warehouse. Arriving exhausted, partner suggests break, recover breath. Adjusting glasses, lady comments air heavy there. Finding warning strange, man stays alert, searching danger. Spying door, verifies dark interior, caution. Echoing steel, pair steps, resonant empty environment. Revealing base, place full computers, wires. Turning alone, old TV hisses, static, breaking silence. Turning news, beard wants see media, say chaos. Showing panic, witness reports horror, lived skin. Lying screen, official tries calm population, empty speeches. Covering truth, reporter hides real gravity situation. Passing images, video reveals monster shapes attacking civilians. Watching massacre, screen violence shocks raw brutality. Sitting name, man recognizes drug, ultra behind everything. Remembering start, recalls world changed suddenly. Frowning hunter feels responsibility, weight increase. Giving order, lady warns need act fast now. Showing supplies, artificial blood stock ready. Accepting mission, beard prepares return active. Back park, moonlights next confrontation scenario. Landing ground, creature awaits opponent arrival. Kicking force, hen arrives flying, kickstart fight. Tearing monster, sharp claws cut hard skin, pity. Screaming pain, beast feels brutal, surprise attack impact. Observing duel, mobster pair walks calm park. Commenting scene, leader praises bloody show before them. Growling hate, wounded monster turns attention rookies. Ordering attack, suit man orders subordinate resolve. Jumping air, enemy advances, claws ready tear. Blocking blow, henchman holds attack own hands. Smiling cruel, challenges creature try better that. Roaring furious, monster realizes found rival height. Counterattacking fast, henchman throws beast far brute force. Falling ground, giant raises dust hitting violently. Destroying everything, fight turns park battlefield. Finishing combo, mobster beats monster silence good. Observing end, leader smiles satisfied bloody result. Suffering cut, monster feels energy blade tear flesh. Dividing beast, precise blow separates enemy pieces. Burning ground, carcass smokes fatal attack heat. Kicking body, mobster crushes fallen creature remains. Staining clothes, black blood splashes dirt tying expensive suit. Tearing air, red light shines intensely darkness. Transforming everything, cursed energy consumes environment around. Refusing help, glasses man says resolves alone there. Explaining rule reminds mafia strong dominate all. Looking scared, colleague sees mutation distort face. Laughing pleasure, villain feels forbidden power flow veins. Brandishing weapon, hen attacks hesitating cutting insanity. Exploding location, force clash destroys building walls. Cursing crazy, mobster realizes boy real suicide. Shining eyes, gang leader observes chaos interest. Lighting city, neon lights create psychedelic aura night. Caressing face, villain feels pain, hand hit. Roaring fury releases power, deafening scream. Promising death, gang leader swears end boy personally. Retreating wounded, glasses man flees stumbling darkness. Raising fist, monstrous silhouette dominates scene violence. Leaving trail, blood stains mark desperate flight. Serving counter, coffee boy greets habitual visitor. Finding visit strange, Ascan switched bike again. Explaining luck, our MC says found someone negotiates minor. Praising style, barista comments looking hunter. Accepting praise and asks master hid today. Pointing up, boy says lazy still sleeping. Unlocking weapon, female hand aims direct target head. Feeling floors, Sylvester wakes groggy understanding danger there. Staring scene, hand observes master thrown floor cold look. Greeting student, Sylvester ironizes surprise visit room. Complaining invasion, warns entering asking free shot. Adjusting pajama, blonde hears hand ask recent news. Hands waste questions, boy thinks park massacre. Analyzing chaos, Sylvester notes local vampires lost control. Disdaining case says just corrupted expire alone. Denying help, master warns not private teacher anyone. Turning back, questions reason matters much boy. Insisting theme, hen realizes something behind disdain. Revealing reasons, Sylvester explains failed monster blood worth nothing. Arguing back, hen reminds creatures attract much attention. Showing beast image reveals being consumed only insatiable hunger. Completing reasoning, blonde says can't hide anymore. Preparing weapon, concludes own race come clean mess. Revealing elite, Sylvester speaks executioner's impossible find. Confirming tactic, explains use failed monsters live bait. Smiling greedy, master sees gold opportunity them. Vibrating bed phone notifies urgent info arrival. Ordering quiet, Sylvester stops boy question hear audio. Announcing bomb, transmission promises reveal hottest secret. Identifying target, report says corrupted ex-hunter Jeong Jun. Narrowing look, tension increases knowing real enemy. Accelerating road, beard car follows firm mission. Predicting pain, old man knows job end cruel too.